Okay, today this iPhone 6 has two problems. One is it has no fingerprint, and also the rear camera it's not working. It's not turning on, but the front camera is working okay. So before actually doing this video, we do a component swap, and it didn't work as well. So obviously there's some problem with the motherboard. So we're going to deal with the motherboard right now. Oh, and by the way, this phone has been fixed by other shops before, so we will have to take out the motherboard and examine carefully on what they did or what they have done to the motherboard. And as usual, we have to disconnect the battery first before we disconnect all the flex. And then we can simply take off the motherboard from the chassis. And then we place the motherboard onto the motherboard holder. And first we examine the rear camera, and quickly we found that this connector actually burns out, so we have to change this connector for sure. And also there's a power line that provides 3V voltage to the rear camera, and it's missing. So and later in the video we are going to show you how to reconnect the power. And then to remove this connector, we use the heat gun back and forth, and using the temperature 330 and airflow is 40. Sorry, the temperature is 300 and airflow is 40. And after we remove the connector, we have to clean the motherboard like usual. And using the soldering wick to take away all the tin on the motherboard. And then clean the motherboard by the thinner water for a bit, because later on we are going to replace the new connector. And also we have to dig out where the problem on the fingerprint. So we use this underfill remover, the dissolvent, terminated dissolvent, to apply to help us remove the underfill instead of applying too much heat onto the motherboard. This part we actually did a fast forward because the duration took about around 20 minutes. I have to do it in quick, so we fast forward a bit. Okay. This is what it looks like after we clean out all the underfill by using the dissolvent. And we found this the other problem, but it wasn't affect any functions, that the power that connects to the 3D touch, it seems like somebody has tried to fix this, but and we check the resistance and the functions all right. So we have to do the UV max to prevent further damage. And also we checked each pin on the fingerprint connector, the resistance. This will help us to find which power line or circuit it's not correct. The reading is incorrect, and we could quickly locate the problem and start working on it. And after that, we found that there's also a 3V power that provides for the fingerprint. It's also missing. And then we figured that this coil, this safe coil that is not working properly. So we would simply just micro jump it, or instead you can remove it and replace with the new one from the donor board. But since we owe the theory on the schematics, we can simply just micro jump this coil. It doesn't affect. Okay, after that we take away the flux using the motherboard thinner water, and also we have to check the resistance again, and it's okay now. And then now we are going to deal with the rear camera. First, we would recover the power that actually should provide 2.85 volt to the rear camera, since it's missing. So we would have to find another power source on this circuit. This circuit actually provides 3 volt power for the radio frequency. So you could micro jump from this point to where the pin that provides provides power to the rear camera. And as we go over the layout, we found that there's only one pin on the on the right bottom corner. Actually, that's the pin to provide power. So we would have to apply some UV max first to insulate other pads. And after that, we would have to apply UV max a long way on the micro jump wire, because to prevent further shortage. And also when the UV max is dry, or when we make it solid, it helps us to make the micro jump wire in position. Okay, just before we apply the new connector, we check the pin on the motherboard again. And normally when we soldering the IC, it has a stencil to help us rebolt, but the connector itself has no place to doing the rebolting, so we have to tin up the motherboard by ourselves. And this is the way that we do to tin up the motherboard. There's some extra tin that follows between these two capacitors, and we have to clean it for sure. And then I think we're about to put soldering back the new connector. The tip is remember you have to move the heat gun back and forth. You cannot station it at one point because this connector has plastic material on it. It will melt when you try to station your heat gun. So the way that we do is moving the heat gun back and forth to evenly apply the heat until the tin on the motherboard is melt. Then we can press a little bit against the connector so that the pin on the connector connects to the pin on the motherboard. And this, meanwhile, we could use the tweezer to help us do some positioning on the connector and try to align each pin correctly. Okay, last step is important. We press against the connector using the other side of the tweezer and quickly remove the heat gun away. Take the heat gun away. And then we have to use the blade to gently press against each pin to make sure that it's all connected. If it's not connected, you have to do it again. Okay, it's all good now. Now we're going to put the motherboard back to the chassis to make sure all the functions working properly, especially the fingerprint and the rear camera. Alright, as the phone turns on, we could examine the fingerprint function. Now it's working. And also that we have to check the rear camera and the focus, and also the front camera as well. Alright, so the problem is solved. And that's it for today. Thank you very much.